It's just like someone's just shot you with a bow and arrow of love, and you can just feel that whole, you're inspired through emotional intelligence. Just feels like, yes, you've got that warmth, juices, like someone's given you a drug. That's probably not a great thing when they've injected you with the drug and you can just feel it go through your body. But when your blood starts pumping into it just a different level and you can just feel it filtering through, like you've had your first sugar fix sometimes.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hello, dear listeners. Hello, dear Deb. Here we are with another deliciously motivated mindset conversation. How are you doing, Deb?
Fabulous.
Fabulous. That's the best way to be, I think.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fabulous. Before we get stuck into our conversation for today, if the listeners, if you've been a regular recipient of these conversations, you know that we like to just check in with ourselves and rate ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10. And this is to just check in and see how's your mindset, how's your emotions, how are you feeling? And so at 0, you're feeling really pieced out, calm, collected, aligned with the core of you. And at 10, you're like crazy making, stuck on a crazy train, feeling stuck. Oh my God. So
yes. And can I also just add, either 0 or 10 is perfectly fine.
Absolutely.
Because you're actually listening to the podcast while you're at a 10. A 10 is still okay if you're listening to the podcast at a 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 or anything.
The invitation to do this rating it's actually about creating emotional awareness. And so we hope that it changes, and we're going to check in with you at the end of the conversation too. And it's to not get into comparing or thinking, I have to always be at where Moira is or always be at where Deb is. It's just having that awareness and check in with yourself throughout your day, regardless of what you're doing, just because it's a beautiful tool of self-management, I think.
Yeah, the other day, it was quite interesting. The other day I was in a crazy state. I'm going to say crazy state. And I was just all over the place and I went, stop, hand on heart, breathe. What number are you? What number are you? Where are you at?
Yeah.
And then the number I started with changed by the time I got my breathing regulated. Beautiful. And then I went, damn, that's a good tool we use.
Yes, it is.
I just forgot to
even use it ourselves.
Yeah.
So all that being said, my dear, where are you?
1.
You're a 1.
Now, if anybody ever listens before, I go, oh, damn, forget I do this. I've got to think about what number I am. But
so you're I'm solidly on a 1.
Yeah, solidly 1. I went 1, 2, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Very good. And it's funny that you say that. So just to keep things different, because I actually felt like I was a 1. I think I'm a 1.5. I'm looking forward to this conversation because we're going to unpack it and see what comes up, because it's all about emotional intelligence. So we're going to talk today about happiness through emotional intelligence. So what does that feel like to you? I know you like to break apart.
I'm going to break that first word, happiness, first. Let's just go there.
Yeah, let's just go there. No, because you often like to really sort of assess what's the feeling around happiness, and then what's the feeling around emotional intelligence, and what does it mean to create happiness through emotional intelligence. What comes up for you?
So happiness is a word that I don't know. There must be an emotional charge around that word for me, because I hear that word happiness and I hear people who just strive because they want to be happy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, don't fixate around that one word happiness. So I would say inspired through emotional intelligence. Just because when I hear the word happiness, people go, oh, I want to be happy. I want to have my pom-pom moment, and that's what I refer. If people could see me, my hands are up in the air, pom-pom. That's what I refer happiness as, although it's not, but that's what I reference it as. So if I went inspired through emotional intelligence, inspired to me, it's just like someone's just shot you with a bow and arrow of love, and you can just feel that whole, you're inspired through emotional intelligence. Just feels like, yes, you've got that warmth, juices, like someone's given you a drug. That's probably not a great thing when they've injected you with the drug and you can just feel it go through your body. But when your blood starts pumping into it just a different level and you can just feel it filtering through, like you've had your first sugar fix sometimes. That's inspired, although it's not. But I would say inspired through emotional intelligence, because I believe if you're striving for happiness, you're just going to get more and more lessons to debunk that word happiness. Would be my thing. Okay. What's your feeling around that?
So I like what you said. So a couple of things were just landing from you as you were describing that, because when you talk about people who are striving for happiness, when we get stuck into that paradigm, we're forgetting that happiness is an inside job. I feel like it's an inside job. I agree. Happiness doesn't happen because I get a certain relationship or I achieve a certain goal or
You're reading my mind.
Pom-poms.
You're reading my mind here. Hang on a minute. Yeah.
Well, we know that we're on the same path most of the time with these. But you know what I really loved was about you saying the word inspire, because inspire is to breathe in.
Oh, yeah, of course. I don't think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, no wonder you're sort of reframing this into saying, instead of saying happiness through emotional intelligence, saying inspire through emotional intelligence. But when you really tap into that in-breath.
Oh, you can just feel it. I can just feel it right now as you're talking.
Yeah. Can't you? And so to me, that just feels so heart-opening. When I inspire, I recognize happiness is already there. It's not something I had to go chasing after or set intentions around or achieve something in order to have it, because it's always there. And maybe that's when we get to step into the emotional intelligence as the acknowledgement of, hello, it's here, right?
Absolutely. And that's just the first level of it, is just that whole recognizing. But I've got my little goosies, my little erecties all along my thing, and just shifting that one word. And it also shows how powerful one word can be for some people.
Right.
Like, and I hear people go, I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy. I'm like, oh my God, you're right here, right now. What are you grateful for? Oh, but I'm not happy. It's like, okay, let's just drop the word happy. What are you inspired about? What are you grateful for? What's amazing happening around you? What's, what feels like you're uplifting?
What can you appreciate?
Yeah. Where is that little sparkle? I don't have any sparkle. Well, you got up and your heart's still beating, and you've got toothpaste to clean your teeth, and you're in a warm house, and you're talking to me, and okay, well, there might be some things then I'm happy about. I'm like, okay, but let's just take away the word happy and let's inspired. But it's those things. What are you grateful for? Because that just debunks that whole thing. But emotional intelligence, for me, isn't what you read. It is what you read in a book. It is totally what you read in a book, but it's what you live by.
Yes.
And you can read something in the book and go, oh yeah, that lands. I hear that. But when you start to put those actions behind those thoughts and you live and breathe it, that's where your emotional intelligence really kicks off, because you can learn things in a textbook, but it's when you have your life learning or your real life learning, that's when their real awareness comes into play. Would that relate to you?
Yes, absolutely. Because, to me, emotional intelligence is honoring all of the emotions that you feel. So to me, emotional intelligence is all about allowing yourself that broad spectrum. Sometimes you're going to be at 0, sometimes you're going to be at 10. Both of them are right. It's never to run away. Yes, it's never to run away. It's like, okay, isn't this interesting? But you know, something that I really...
That was me the other day. As soon as I numbered it, I went, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then focusing on the breathing, and then the number changed. And I went, wow, that was easy. And then my
simple.
I just have to say, my internal dialogue went, of course it's easy. You and Moira do this. Like, duh, you tell people. I'm like, I know, but it's really easy. And then, of course, I overanalyzed everything and my number changed again. But yeah.
Because you got stuck in your head again.
Because my emotional intelligence, yeah.
But you see, emotional intelligence, EQ, as opposed to intelligence, IQ. So there's deeper awareness with EQ, and it's closer to the acknowledgement and the awareness that you're a spiritual being having this physical experience. And so to what you just described there is that your IQ says, oh, but that was so silly or so simple. That was so simple to do that. That's IQ kicking in. I know better. I blah, 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 right? The EQ is just the number.
I was just thinking of the true geniuses in the world when you talked about EQ versus IQ or over IQ, and they're introverts. And, you know, and people go, oh, they just don't know how to have a conversation. They don't want to have a conversation at other people's level. They know how to have a conversation, but they only want to talk high level universal laws or whatever, like at a way higher vibration than most of us. And most of us dumb down our marketing for the masses, like we, you know, for people to understand, which actually doesn't sound that great, but we do dumb down our conversation for some people around. And people will do that in a social situation. They'll just go, oh yeah, I just do this, you know, no biggie. I'm just, you know, I collect the rubbish. It's like, well, actually the rubbish collector man is very vital, especially while the world's happening, what's happening, because if you don't come and collect our rubbish, we have problems. You know, so you're not just a rubbish man.
Garbage.
Yeah, smelly stuff. But, you know, when I think about the EQ over IQ, and they don't want to have that conversation because people aren't at their IQ level. But there is that emotional intelligence to be able to handle those situations and handle people at any level of
exactly. And that's kind of what I was trying. That's kind of what I was trying to say, is that when a person has a good level of EQ, they realize that all emotions, number one, they're impermanent, and that we are called upon to just feel them, because as soon as we feel them, they just pass through. Which, back to your example about just putting your hand over your heart and breathe, you can then recognize maybe you're feeling frustration, or maybe you're feeling irritation or anger. This is an experience of that. And if I can hold in the present moment, then I am much more resilient and can also get the intelligence out of what was that emotion guiding me towards? What was it helping me see or recognize? Right?
Yeah. And don't rush that process of blowing away the cloud.
Truly.
Like for me, as soon as I realized I did the hand on the heart, the number, breathing, I then went, oh, okay, this makes sense. And then the overanalyzing went, not to find a solution, but went, God, that was so easy. Oh, why don't we do this more? And I'm like, oh, hang on, I do tell people that more. But then, Deborah, you don't get yourself into a pickle like this. So, you know, the old IQ kicked in, maybe not.
Listening to those three voices in your head.
Yes. But for me, as soon as I realized that, the cloud started clearing anyway. And I didn't need to find a solution. I didn't need to jump into solution base. I could just go, oh, that makes sense. And just that allowed the clouds to disperse a little bit, bit by bit.
Yeah.
But I think we get hung up on emotional intelligence. I've got a really great book. I don't know where it is. I look around my office. I've got a really great book on emotional intelligence, but it's really interesting. how our stories, how our patterns, how we can run with them. It's just insane what we hold on to and how it forms who we are right here, right now.
Absolutely. It's actually something that I've often said to clients over the years, is that for every emotion, remember there's intelligence in an emotion, but for every emotion that we can have up to 150 thoughts and probably even more to justify or explain or tell yourself off for having this
Look at me the other day. Yeah.
And so
150 thoughts in 1 minute.
But so then the shortcut through that is to realize, you know what, I'm going to have all these definitions and stories, and I don't want to attach to them. Because some of the things that you just said were a criticism of you. Right? And so it's like, no, would you say that to somebody else? Well, it's Debz, so maybe you would.
maybe sometimes. It is really interesting how our minds do run onto those, and we get the lint that is attached to us. But I think if we, I know you've got the letting go process. I freaking love that, because the moment you let it go, now when I say let it go, it's not like, it's just, no, how do I put this? It's being like, just letting it go. Like, for God's sake, there's, like, you and I are talking before this call. We were talking about there's so much going on around us. And it's like, stop and be grounded. Be grateful you've got
get into
what you
the
have
moment.
right here, right now. Get present in the moment. You're here.
You're here, and there is always things around you, things about your quality of life to appreciate, to be grateful for, to acknowledge, to put your attention towards, as opposed to, well, I don't like that, and that sucks, and look at this, and which one would you prefer?
And that's not a happiness, that's an inspired person. What one would you prefer? Because I can tell you what, you're a freaking ugly person, an ugly being, if you're going to be that.
The one who complained and says how much is wrong and how terrible everything is. And
and everybody, if you're sitting there moaning about everybody and everything in life, my God, you're only going to attract moaners. And and you're going to feed off each other, and it's not healthy for your soul, and it's not healthy for your emotional intelligence.
Absolutely not. And you've heard, Deb, you heard me say this before. I like to say that negativity has too much Velcro.
Yes.
Right.
I was like, hang on. I know she says something really good. Yes.
Too much Velcro. It's like, no, I get to choose. What am I going to allow to stay in my vibrational bubble?
I think we get wrapped up in what people think about us, and this is around this emotional intelligence as well. What will people think about us if we speak up? What will people think about us if we don't speak up? I was on a Facebook post last night, and I saw a woman, a man, he's quite a leader in other people's minds. Nice dig, Deborah. And he said that he was crying like a little girl. He said he was bawling like a little girl, and someone pulled him up on it and said, why don't you say you're crying like a human? Why don't you, it's a male, or like a little boy, or someone who just, had their thumbnail stomped or something like that.
Even crying like a baby.
And this person,
gender.
And this person put up, I'm just going to call you out on this, blah, blah, blah. And this person who called the man out got slammed. She just got bombarded with about 15 comments, and I just happened to, and I went, oh, no, she's right. You can't not like, so I jumped on and I just said, which is very unlike me, I just sit back and just get out the popcorn and watch it unfold. But I actually went, no, I feel quite in my soul to do this. And I said, if she doesn't call him out on something that's small, it's going to get bigger.
True.
And because somebody came back and said, well, you obviously have trauma for you as a young child, and you need to look at this and all this. And I was like, whoa, we're all getting really personal here. But that is, what type of emotional intelligence is that? That's just attack. And so I just said, look, I agree with her. I agree with her for calling him out on that, and just, change the wording to a little bit. But everyone was just like, if that's all you saw in this whole lovely post and this. But anyway, the presenter, the person who actually did it, contacted her privately, and they had a full discussion about it. Now, I don't know if he's edited it or not.
Right.
But she said, I've actually had a discussion with him about this, and he agrees with me. So I presume he's going to change it or put an edit on there. Right. But it was interesting about this whole emotional intelligence, how people can run on the story and hide behind social media. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on now.
Truly.
But sit behind that judgment of that emotional intelligence, and just because that's not emotional intelligence, that's reactive.
It's reactive, and making
dumbness.
other people reactive and making other people accountable, right?
Yeah.
So it's, the thing is that we are going to have polarity, right? The yin and yang, and the black and white, and negative, positive, hot and cold. But it's to just be aware, maybe be aware of sensitivities, particularly if you're broadcasting something. Because, I was listening to a podcast, I think it was, or maybe I was reading something, because I've been doing a lot of studying around human design and gene keys. And there was this one piece that really resonated with me, where this person was talking about there is a propensity with we are emotional beings, that we have the right to express every one of our emotions. Well, do we?
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
There needs to be a little bit of a check-in, because
we're freedom of speech.
But there is freedom of speech. I totally get that. But at the same time, where's harmony? Where's integrity? So my point being is that maybe I wake up and I'm tired and I've overbooked myself. And so then my energy is a little bit off, and somebody says or does something that kind of makes me go, oh, hey, now do I have the right to say, hey, you shouldn't speak like that, or you shouldn't broadcast like that?
Well, this all depends on your PEMS. This is your thing.
Yes, exactly.
This totally depends on whether you go for the jugular or you just walk away.
Exactly.
Or in between.
And for listeners who don't know what Deb's is referring to, when we talk about the PEMS, I'm talking about how is your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health, and your spiritual health. And that is so important. So the thing is about this idea of we all have the right to express our emotions. I want to take that step back for a moment and just say we all have the right to feel all of our emotions. And this is where emotional intelligence comes in. Because sometimes the feeling angry needs to be felt and dissipated by punching a pillow or stamping your feet, not going and having a tantrum out so somebody else gets the earful of it. Do you know what I mean?
It's I agree with freedom of speech. I agree with that. But there's also a time and a place when it's like, is it really worth your energy, your time? Like, is this because you want to be an a-hole? You want to be the upper hand?
Yeah.
Or you actually just go, okay. And I have a reference, you can't push a wet noodle. So if someone is so firm, and I would see them as a wet noodle, yes, it's judgment, a wet noodle. Have you ever tried to push a wet noodle? That's damn hard. But if they're so firm in that, then sometimes it's just not even worth your time and energy and breath. So
my point. That's exactly, Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So but you don't have to stand on that platform to voice your opinion. You can just go, okay, we agree to disagree.
Yes.
You don't have to fight for fight. You don't have to
or you can
engage
just go,
for engage.
Precisely. Or you can just go, oh, that's an interesting point of view. I wouldn't do that, but okay.
Yeah, like it's not worth that time and energy. And that's a level of leadership, empowerment, governance over your life, over your actions and reactions. Because if someone goes, let's just say someone brings a gun to you and says, I'm going to do this, and you're like, okay, righto, and you just walk away, who's going to be more like frustrated? That other person's like, well, hang on, you're supposed to be fearful, you're supposed to give me this, you're supposed to do this, and you're just like, okay, righto, have a great day, bye, I'm out, and you carry on. Not that I think that scenario is actually going to happen like that, Deborah going the extreme in some areas, but I trust that it doesn't happen like that. Well, actually, I'd rather it happen like that than the other way. But when you just shut that down and you just don't engage, like, totally, that's a total emotional intelligence, or there's an EQ and an IQ right there and then. Just
that's beautiful blending of all of that intelligence. But do you know what else that feels like? It's something that I've often referenced as it's claiming your sovereignty. We are all sovereign beings. And I just love that whole idea of claiming my sovereignty means somebody else's issue doesn't affect me.
And see, that's quite a hard thing to, and I'm going to say hard thing to live by. You've got dedication. That's cleaning your teeth every freaking day. That's cleaning your teeth every time something emotional comes up. You clean your teeth. Every time something gets thrown at you, you clean your teeth. You're cleaning your teeth a lot. If we reference it, cleaning your teeth, you're cleaning your teeth a lot until you live and breathe by it. But you wouldn't go to the toilet and not use toilet paper.
That's right.
So it's just one of those things. If you get that, I don't know why I referenced that one. That's a great one.
Yes, Debz likes to create some interesting visuals.
Yes, I do. But that's exactly it. So if you start living by those things and implementing them, I've just, we talk about the 4 agreements. Well, I got the book because I got it, and I'm just showing Moira the book. Yes, I got it because I understood it, but I just want to take it to another little level. And so for me, I've got the book because I want to implement it, and I have that desire to live by it way more.
Yeah.
So because if I can do that, it just gives me another level of beautifulness
and self-mastery too. I mean, that's what those agreements are about, is self-mastery. And then by claiming authorship and sovereignty and mastery, then we empower people all around us to do the same.
Yeah.
And don't you think that's kind of like the epitome of emotional intelligence?
That's just divineness. That's divine, because there's nothing worse. And look, we love drama. We have a level of drama. We love a little bit of drama in our lives. And so my drama is my clients. My clients come to me with drama and I go, yay, drama, because I don't have drama in my own personal life.
Right.
I'm grateful for that. So just so with those things, they bring me that. And if I can just abide by those things and teach and educate those things, that's what my desire is. So that when a client goes to a social party or picks the children up from school and someone goes, oh, did you hear so-and-so did this? Did you hear so-and-so's kid did this? Did you hear? Oh, no, I didn't hear. Thanks very much. Oh, wow, they must be having an amazing time right now. Oh, wow, they're going through their challenges. Let's just send them some love.
Precisely.
And I tell you what, if you say that, oh, they must be going through some amazing challenges, I wonder what would they like some love? Let's send them some love. Just those things just shuts that whole conversation down. And I tell you what, that person who comes to you for gossip or whatever, feeding on drama, is going to go, oh, I hadn't thought about it like that. And that may stop that pattern right there and then. It may not. They may go and find someone else. But just those things of just putting that shield up. Oh, wow, they must be going through some real tough challenges.
Yeah.
We've been there before.
Yeah.
End of story.
Just being in. And so that to me, that's a wee bit like what we've talked before about making sure that you're in your own snow globe. You're in your own protective bubble. And that's what I'm saying to you. Nobody can make you feel anything or think anything even without your say-so, without your bringing it into your own vibration and going, oh, yes, that's terrible. Or, oh, yes, even, oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Because they're both opposite ends of the same spectrum. How about just coming into appreciation and gratitude and awareness of how am I feeling about this situation? That's it.
It just shuts it down. It just shuts that whole chaotic moment down.
The chaotic moment and the toxic vibe of like you're saying about the gossiping, because that's the first agreement is being impeccable with your word. That means not repeating stuff, not repeating stuff like that.
It's look, I get amused. People break up with people young, and what happens is they break up, and then all their friends go, "I told you I didn't like him, or I didn't like her," and blah la 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 la. And then 3 weeks later, they get back together. And then if you're that one who goes, "I told you I didn't like him, he did this to me, or she said that, da da da," and then they get back together, and you're like, "Oh my God, I wish I never said that. Oh my God, they're going to tell that person." And 99.9% of the time, they do tell them.
Absolutely. They do.
Did you know so-and-so said this when we broke up? And drama and just escalates.
Yeah, that's it. We're not speaking to that person anymore because they, they let
because
something
they
come
told
out.
the truth.
Yeah.
And then you've gone, So these are the things. So be impeccable with your word. Like that's just another level of serenity. What do you call it? Sovereignty. Governance of my world. It's just another level of that.
Absolutely is.
And that's you don't hear inspired people gossip about.
Nope.
Just gossip about. That's it.
And then that's like you were saying about your example a moment ago about somebody, picking up the kids and the scuttlebutt is, oh my God, did you hear about this? No, I didn't. I'm sending them love and light. That's it.
You imagine the other person's like, "What? Oh, I thought you liked drama. Okay, end of conversation. Well, done." And you've just literally shut that whole thing down right there and then. It hasn't come into your bubble. It hasn't come into your awareness. So it's about just like the bubble. It's just, your inspiration through your emotional intelligence is, I'm not going to say protect yourself, but just honor yourself would be probably the thing. Not protect, just honor what feels right. And if you want to jump on the crazy gossip train, go for it. But just know you're going to fall off and you're going to graze your knees at some time.
And recognize that you made the choice. Right?
And be okay with making that choice.
Yep.
But also be okay with changing that choice.
Absolutely. Because that's the other thing too that's really important, Don't you feel that when we are doing this idea of maybe up-leveling our emotional intelligence or claiming our sovereignty, that we get to where we're going by taking 2 steps forward and then 1 back, and 2 steps forward and 1 back?
I'm nodding.
Unfortunately, we this idea of negativity has too much Velcro. We get too caught up on the 1 step back. I had a conversation with a client just last week. We were talking about that because she was telling me, "Oh, I suck. I did this. I blah, blah, blah." But it's like, yeah, but you did those 2 steps. And she lights up and, "Oh, yeah, I did." So it's like, okay, so let's not bother ourselves about the fact that, you did 1 step back. So still going to make another 2 steps forward.
I think that's just even that, like when you make a to-do list and people go, "Oh my God, I've got 10 things still left on my to-do list." Well, how many did you knock off? 3. I only 3, but those 3, how long did they take? 10 hours each or whatever, like
6 hours here and 5 hours here. Absolutely.
Yeah, but you took the highest brain bezozzling, hardest thing you could possibly choose. They're the 3 that you did. Oh yeah, but I've still got lots of things on my list. It's like, oh my God, do you not see this? And I just as well, we're in isolation, I'll be slapping you. But that's exactly it. But that is really common until you can, the majority of people think like that. until we change it. So are you, I say this to the listeners, are you somebody who focuses on that one step back? Are you somebody who focuses on, oh my God, I still got 10 things on my list?
Yeah. Or are you going to celebrate the 3 things that you got done?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's okay to admit to that and just know that today, oh my gosh, I'm admitting to it. And if you admit to it today and put your hand up and say, yes, that's what I'm doing today, then next time something happens, I guarantee you'll start thinking differently because you've put your hand up and you've said, oh my gosh, I do this. Oh my God, I'm one of those people who focus on the one step back. Wow. The moment you acknowledge that at that greater level, hand in the air, say it out loud, you'll start changing.
It doesn't have the hold on you anymore.
No.
So now you're the conscious navigator of your path forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we do it with loving kindness, right? That, okay, I'm taking a step back and I'm a bit sad that I did, but so be it. You know, can I actually, that's something that I get a lot of my clients to do. If you do focus overly on the step backwards, I encourage you to just pause, put your hand over your heart and do some breaths like Deb was talking about earlier, and then ask yourself, how can I be kinder to myself in this? Just it. How can I be kinder to myself right now?
And don't think that means changing your whole life.
Oh gosh, no.
Breaking up with someone. I just need to clarify that.
No,
I don't mean go for a run, exercise every day. Don't put delusional aspirations out there.
Usually when we just pause like that and say, how can I be kinder to myself? It's like, oh, well, I could actually just get up and stretch my body and maybe go outside and have the sun on my face.
Blow my nose on it, or I could blow my nose on a tissue instead of my sleeve. This is what I'm thinking.
Could do
just
that
get a tissue.
Nice soft tissue instead of your scratchy sweater sleeve.
Yeah. So I'm not saying go, right, I need to get up and go for a run and go for a thing and then start a marathon, look for the
Well, that one would be if I said, how can I transform myself? And I didn't. I said, how can I be kinder to myself? And so kinder to me just feels like, well, and to your point, maybe I could just use something that's a bit softer to blow my nose. Yeah.
But it's those little things, but those little things are so significant and so impactful.
Yeah. And so important, because what was that? What is it said? The journey of 1,000 miles is achieved by one step at a time. Or something like that.
The journey of 1,000. Oh, yeah, almost like, hang on, the journey. I've got to break this down here,
Or the other one
exactly
is the other one is, how do you eat an elephant?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. One mouthful at a time.
One bite at a time. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, poor elephants. I've never eaten an elephant, but yeah, but that's exactly it. How do you eat an elephant? Where do I start when you put when you're in your office and you're like, where do I start? Where do I start? There's so much paperwork. You start with a piece of paper closest to you.
Yeah.
Just start start. Just start.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you start at number 7 and you want to start at number 1, just start.
It can be the smallest, tiniest step. Just start.
Yeah. And those steps are so significant.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how quantum leaps are created.
I actually just put a post. I put a post on. Oh yeah, of course that is. Oh, I wonder if I've still got it on my social media. There was something and I really liked it. I bet it's gone off my story now. Oh, there. No matter how slow you go, you're still lapping everyone on the couch.
I like that.
And I saw that and I thought, oh my God, you're so true. Because people are like, oh, I go for a walk, but I'm going to be so slow. And I'm like, what about the people who are not exercising right now? Yeah, are you faster than them?
Very good point.
Yeah. No matter how slow you go, you're still lapping everyone on the couch. Everybody on the couch. Yeah. I thought that was a good little thing. Well. So we started with happiness through emotional intelligence. We've shifted it to inspired through emotional intelligence.
Well, maybe we could do inspiring happiness through emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I just thought that was fun. Inspire means breathe in, right?
Yeah, I use the word inspire so much that I just love it. And when I say inspire, I do breathe in.
Yeah.
Inspire. You can't not.
exactly.
Inspire, you can't breathe it out. So is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up today, Moira? I've loved it. We've gone down that rabbit hole.
We
gone
have
left and
certainly
right.
gone on some fascinating tangents. I think the main thing that I would love to just point out is the whole piece of going at your right pace. Claim your sovereignty, take your steps, doesn't matter how big or small they are. That's how we get to where we're going, right?
Yeah. And
my happiness is an inside job, yes.
Yes. And I'm just going to say, be gentle on yourself.
Yeah.
Be gentle on yourself.
Yeah. Good reminder.
Wow. Well, listeners, thank you very much for joining us today. Now, at the start, we had our numbers where we started, and Moira, you're a 1.5, and I was a 1.
1.5, and you were a 1. Yeah.
So where do you feel you are now?
I'm a 0. Usually
I feel like
it happens by these conversations. How about you?
Loved up. I'm in a loved up bubble, so I'm definitely a 0 as well. So listeners, we would love to know where you were, where you're at. That would be super inspiring. It would make us happy. Not really, it would inspire me. Yeah,
it would inspire you.
Yeah, and I trust that we've shifted in your numbers, and whether you shifted up or down in those numbers, let us know if there's a specific topic you'd love us to talk about or anything like that. We just go down rabbit holes.
We do.
We don't even know what rabbit holes we go down.
Warm, fluffy things down there.
Yeah, we go. So thank you for joining with us today. We will see you, listen to you. You will listen to us. You will listen to us. You will listen to us on our next podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Deliciously Motivated Mindset with Debz and Moira.
Thank you for your wisdom and sparkle. And also, listeners, if you need more help, please make sure you reach out to
that's what I was going to
both
say.
Of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Moira.
Thanks, Deb. Bye.
Bye.